What up?
What's happening?
What's happening? Jen's in the house for a little bit.
Just a wee bit.
Just a wee bit. Just for a wee bit. How you doing, Monica?
I'm doing A-okay. Let's hope that my weekend is not riddled with text messages from clients. Leave me alone. Leave me the fuck alone.
It's my weekend. Screw you guys. I'm going home.
Yeah, screw you guys. I'm already home.
Right. Oh yeah, Jen, how's your day? How's it going for you?
I got to work about 2:30. I'm a happy camper. I went
Woohoo!
shopping, bought nonsense. Good evening.
That's always fun.
Yeah. Dropped the kid. He didn't like that, but that's okay. He got something out of it.
I got home and she's like, "Look, babe, I got you a shirt. I know it's hard to get you shirts, but it's a Halloween shirt. It's like I'm only here for the booze,
The booze.
Like, with the booze.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was like,
why not?
That's cool.
You need to get on the lawns and the booze and wear that shirt.
All right, but I'm only here to. I'm only weird with shirts because I hate normal shirts because when they shrink, I call it hamburger versus hot dog. So if they shrink, they go wide and short.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Instead of narrow and long. So I usually buy my own shirts and then get printed, whatever.
Get a print on it.
Yeah, I get a print on it.
That's
that way
cool.
they shrink properly.
Buy it blank.
Because the hot dog shirts, they make you look really wide. And then if you have to reach something, especially where I work, then that's either your butt crack or the bottom of your gut's going to show. So you're like, oh, good.
Because it shrinks.
So you have to use like Tyrannosaurus arms for everything.
You need one of those grabber things. I know what you mean. I hate short shirts. Like I like really like I want to pull them down like as far as I can. I totally understand that.
Well, that was, I mean,
it pisses me off when they shrink up. I'm not a teenager. I don't need a midriff shirt. Too old for that shit.
For real.
I like a little crop top action.
Well, you're a lot younger than I am. Nobody wants to look at that shit anymore.
A lot younger?
Yeah.
I'll take it.
You are. How old are you? You're in your 30s?
La la la.
How old are you, honey?
38? Almost.
Almost.
You're like 13 years younger than me. Almost.
I'm like 9.5 behind this guy.
Yeah, you're 9 years below me, and Monica's got like, what, 5 years on me?
What year? What year are you?
Old.
I'm 78. She's 87.
It's going so fast.
See, I'm 73, so I've got 5 years on you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So 14 years, sugar.
Top. Wear a baggy crop top. Just a little peekaboo here and there.
I've had 4 kids. I'm going to be 52 in a couple of months.
These girls out there.
Look at that shit. They would pay me to keep my shirt down. They would pay me to safety pin it to the top of my pants.
It's like a reverse OnlyFans.
We'll give you money to put on more clothes, lady.
You're like,
a scarf.
I'm gonna be naked if y'all don't pitch in $25.
Yeah, that would be hilarious. Like start off bare ass naked with a whole rack of clothes behind me. Be like, how much for the overcoat? Do you want it to be covered up?
Ski mask.
How much for the paper bag? We can start with the paper bag.
Start with the long wool socks. You want more?
Yeah, if you want more, pitch in, donate. Come on.
I got thigh highs.
And if it's not enough, I'm taking stuff back off.
Yeah, right, exactly. That's hilarious.
I wonder if that would work.
It's my
now my little
Anything
hamster's running in the wheel.
It will definitely work because there's people who are into weird shit.
Dude, there's an ass for every seat. There is one.
yeah, that I remember back in the late 90s. Well, I mean, I'm sure it was a thing before that, but whenever the internet was booming and a friend of mine, his chick got paid like $400 for a X-rated site, but it was just her feet. And that was the first time I, like heard or got hip to the foot fetish thing. I was like, what?
So I may or may not have at one point in time looked at onlyfeet.com as I was like, listen, if somebody's willing to give me money to look at my effed up feet, then who am I to deny them?
Right.
So my mom, I don't know, it had to been about before I met you, maybe. But she would talk me and my sister into, she came across videos of into these things, but they were giant chicks, or they sat on little cities. They'd crush buildings with their butts.
Oh, yes, I've heard about that. I've heard
Yeah.
about that.
She's like, you and your sister? Oh, yeah, y'all can make good money. I'm like, Ma. But I see what you're doing here. Okay.
It's like squishing food. Like girls squishing food. That's a big thing, too.
Yeah. The foodies.
Yeah.
What was I saying? SMR? Were you?
Oh, ASMR.
Okay. Yeah. I was like,
I do that.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me if I was shuffling cards the other night because I was like,
yeah, Jen was like, tell Monica we should do that. She's trying to do it, but she's not close enough to the mic.
oh, yeah. I think it's supposed to be specific things like opening Coke cans and pouring it out.
there's different.
Into the fizz. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not just me sitting here like scratching my butt. Yeah, I can do some weird shit. I can do some weird stuff. I'm not above doing weird things. Just saying.
Neither am I.
It keeps things interesting.
I mean, it keeps life interesting, right?
They're boring.
You got to keep life interesting.
Yeah, if it's boring. Only boring people are boring.
Because the older you get, the less things shock you. I got to tell you.
Yeah. Life is about addition and subtraction. When you're younger, everything's addition. As you get older, everything's subtraction. That goes with everything. But anyway, yeah. So tonight we're going to do the war. We're not going to do the warrants, but we're going to talk about the warrants. Because that would be wrong on so many levels.
Well, considering they're both gone, yes, it would.
I mean,
I don't do that kind of weird thing.
Me neither.
I'm not a necromancer. It's okay.
just the smell. I just can't. Texture, man. Texture.
So what's up to the chat? Good to see y'all here. Mickey, Madeline, Scott.
You know what is terrible about the smell of decomposing organic matter like that is that it's the fats get airborne and they stick to your clothing. And yeah, if you're around it too long, you have to get rid of your clothes, like, because the fat in the air stick to it.
Same with cat piss.
Well, that's the ammonia in the cat piss.
On your clothes, the story.
No,
There's
not even
a
if it's
little
on.
creepy fact from Monica.
There's
pretty
like
gross.
I get customers that you can just tell that they're cat owners
Hey.
because when they walk in, you can smell the cat, and it's not like the cat pissed on their clothes, but it's that
Cat box. They don't
ammonia.
take care of their cat box.
Yeah, I'm like,
The
dude.
cat pissed in the vicinity of their clothes if you're smelling
Mhm.
it. Trust me.
Blech.
Exactly.
And that is difficult to get out there. I mean, there's stuff that you can use to get it out, like what am I trying? It's cleaner that enzymes. It's cleaner that has enzymes in it. There's certain enzymes that'll break it down.
Mm.
But you have to wash it and spray it with the enzyme and wash it and spray it with the enzyme and wash it.
No. See, just don't have a cat. That's the easier way to do it. Grandizer says Joey won't say hi. No one calls me Joey, number one, but dude, Mumra would be really, really hard for Halloween. I mean, that's just, but I don't mind the suggestion.
Halloween.
We were gonna do a Halloween show, so we're gonna
What
costume
are you gonna
up.
be for Halloween?
I don't think I'm
I'm
doing
gonna
Halloween.
do,
The same kind of stuff every year. Fucking creepy. Period.
I mean, I still have I don't know. I think I got rid of my Medusa head set. I think I still have my Dia de los Muertos, the big, like, raised with the feathers. I can do my face paint and my skeleton paint. I can come on as that.
I still don't have a costume. I don't know.
You know what? We can do that because your show would be November 1st, which is one of the days of it. It's not the first day, but it's one of the days.
Yeah, it's the All Saints Day.
Yeah, November 1st is Friday.
Yeah.
It's for the children.
It's for the children.
November 1st is when the children come.
Yeah, that's my daughter's birthday, actually. November 1st, my oldest daughter.
Cool.
I think, I don't know. I'm between Angel of Death or Devil.
Angel of Death.
But all of it's all sexy. More sexy. I'm taking my 9-year-old trick-or-treating. I don't want to be sexy costume.
Plague Doctor. I told Joe I would mail you my Plague Doctor mask.
Okay. Yeah. I looked those up.
Do you want me to go get it and show it to you?
I know the bird looking. I know.
Yeah, but there's all different kinds.
The outfit. I mean, outfit. He's like, just your boots.
You want me to send it? I can send you the whole get up.
I haven't decided what I want to do exactly yet.
Okay.
That was one of the options.
Well, if you decide on it, give me time to ship it.
No, if I want to order mine, I'm in trouble.
Yep, shit or get off the pot, Jen.
Decisions.
I mean, it won't take long. You're just down the interstate, so I don't feel like the mail would take more than a couple of days to get to you.
No, I
they
think
would because I'm looking for it.
I think when I sent you that last package, it was only like a day or 2
days. Yeah.
Yeah. Shouldn't be too bad.
I can always send it UPS if I have to, make sure it gets there in like 2 days. I can do that.
I don't know what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Today, I'm wearing.
Senora la Santa Muerta.
I'm a mouse. Duh.
No, I can cover her. Grandizer asked if I'll cover
Anybody mean girl out there?
Yeah. I'm a mouse. Duh.
Yeah, that's what I got to deal
You
with.
only wear pink Wednesdays.
Get in the car, loser. We're going shopping.
I want to go back shopping tomorrow. I shouldn't.
You will.
I missed out on all the Halloween knickknacks. I should have got them when I saw them. Everybody bought them all. Now there's only silverware.
You know what I shop for now? Plants for my garden. That's what I'm shopping for in my spare time. Pump the brakes there, Monica.
I'm going to kill them.
I used to, but then I started paying attention to like what I'm doing and listening to shit. And I've got a very cool like perennial garden going on now. Like I've got an English garden starting.
I want some peonies. That's outside. I want like a whole butterfly setup.
Butterfly
Garden.
garden. Why am I talking
different.
about garden?
Sorry, I'll let you guys get to Warren's. I'm gonna go wash the barbecue pit out of my hair.
No, I was getting in the conversation. I was like, wait a minute, why am I even getting into that?
I want
Like,
our whole barn to be covered in plants and vines coming down. It'd be pretty. I don't know.
Yeah.
Get some fresh herbs, dang-a-lang-a-lang.
they're called herbs.
Okay.
In America, we call it herbs.
Herbs.
What is
Okay,
that floating
Houston.
in my drink?
That's a bubble.
Oh, okay.
Okay, the Warrens.
Warrens.
Freaking one.
Sorry, everybody.
When did they start?
Nobody gives a shit about my gardening. So, yes, the Warrens.
Surprise. Actually, we could talk for an hour about gardening.
So, yeah. So, okay. So, disclaimer right up front. Like, I've seen ghosts and spectators and such and whatnot. So, I'm not discounting the fact that, like, some of their investigations didn't have merit as far as what the people in the houses or whatever were seeing. Like, yes, in fact, the houses could have been haunted. But what I'm getting more into is the exaggerations of it. And what I noticed is the very first few, like when it came to like Amityville and stuff like that, which was the ones that got them rolling, got the snowball rolling on their fame and fortune. They inserted themselves into it. No one called them up and asked them to come out and check it out. Like, they actually went, oh, what? Someone's writing a book? Let's go head down to, Rhode Island or Connecticut or whatever to go kick it and try to get in on the business. That's one red flag for me. You know what I mean?
They invited themselves to the party.
Right, exactly.
The husband trying to play on the wife's.
Well, yeah, because he started out the way he started out, and he was in the military, and then he wanted to get into painting, and then it went from regular painting to hearing about haunted houses and haunted locations and going and painting those and selling them to people who are going out to go see those spots. So I think that's kind of like where he got his premises to, oh, here's a good freaking cash money maker. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So he was supposed to be heavy. Well, both of them are supposed to be heavy in the Catholic Church. Mm-hmm. He was a self-certified demonologist. She was a clairvoyant. And I don't knock her for being a clairvoyant because, there are people who do have, that intuition or that psychic power, if you want to call it that. But being a demonologist, that's kind of like being a subcontractor. You know what I mean? You can be like, yeah, I'm a carpenter. Why? Well, I built like a shed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I built a birdhouse. I'm a carpenter.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Like, oh, well, where'd you go to school at? Oh, wood shop.
High school wood shop.
Built a bubble gum machine, a clock.
I used a bandsaw once.
Are you just studying old school demons?
Well, he did come out with the chart, right?
Are we talking about haunting?
A little bit of both. So, I want to brush your question, but
it's fine, keep going.
It went from hauntings into everything is demons. So it's no longer just a simple ghost. Now it's so he came out with the chart of the I don't exactly remember all the steps of it, but it's like infestation, you know, then it works up to possession, and there's steps and infiltration and blah blah blah. So he came up with this scale of how severe the haunting is, and
Mm-hmm.
and like kind of like we touched on last night for a little bit, and it always comes down to demons. You know what I mean? And
Right.
and say what you will, like if you really dismiss just the spectral side or the what would you call, like repeated energy, like every night at 12 we see the ghost lady walk through the wall.
It's a
I forgot what
God,
it's called.
man, doing these shows after work when my brain is fried is not good.
Yeah.
It's I know what you're saying. It's a repeat, right? Apparition. It's a
Right.
We always see them about this time,
Residual.
the same
residual. Yes, thank you, whoever said that. Residual haunting. So yeah. So it's like I liken those to like when you burn toast. You get rid of the toast, right? You can take it outside, it is gone, but you still smell the burnt toast.
Still
It's a
smell it.
residual.
Still there. It's an
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah.
It's a frequency that repeats.
So yeah, I mean that you know, that is, to me, that's spectral or ghost. That doesn't necessarily mean I think when you're talking demonology,
Imprints.
you know, that's not something that's low energy. It's something that builds energy. It's something that
Low
say if
vibration.
you okay, yeah, exactly. Say if you had a ghost that walks through the wall every night at midnight or whatever, and then it pays you no mind whatsoever, but then you say something to it and eventually it turns its head. Before you know it, it's kicking balls across your living room, you know, and then before you know it, it's scratching you. Now you're talking like demon shit, you know.
Well,
what I
that's
mean?
different because I don't think that a residual energy can do that.
Would do that, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah,
So what you had to begin with wasn't a residual haunting.
right, exactly.
It can't morph into something else. Either it was something else to begin with,
Yeah.
or what's happening after that isn't happening. That's something else.
Yeah. It's a like it would be kind of like a low level energy vampire that's trying to build up the energy through fear, through communication, but you're not dealing with, you know, a residual spectral piece. You're dealing with something that just tried to get your attention, you know, or
well, the more you give something energy, the stronger it will get, right? So the more attention you give it, the more, I mean, and a lot of that comes with, you know, the taboos to speak names, to talk about things. You know, you give it attention, you speak its name, or you speak about it, you're giving it energy, you're giving it power.
Yeah.
Exists.
But my personal, like we're talking about the cowboy that, you know, walks across the house, you know, at, you know, 2:30. I don't think that even if you were to talk to it or give it energy, I don't think it's going to build, because it's literally stuck like on the other side of its veil in its own vibration, just repeating its, you know, thing.
I think it's a piece of that spirit. It is not that entire spirit. Like,
right.
If it was me, like walking at 3:30 every morning, I get up and go to the bathroom. It's, you know, I die next year, like 5 years from now, somebody sees me getting up at 3:30 every morning in this house, like going to the bathroom. That's not me. Like, that's not my entire energy every night doing that. It's a part of my energy left behind. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And no matter how much you feed it energy, it's not even trying to feed energy off.
That's not gonna grow from that. It's just residual. Now,
Right.
interactive poltergeist, like things like that, you get a small haunting, you get a small little presence. Those things, if you have an interactive haunting, those things can grow depending on what they are,
Right.
depending on what it is.
Yeah, because it could be anything from mimics to, we go on for.
I mean, it could legit be your dear departed grandmother just coming in to say hi. Legit could be just somebody passing through to say hi. It could also legitimately be something negative that was attracted to your vibrations and stopped in, because of whatever I heard in my house that night was transient. That thing isn't here all the time. And I don't know why it picked that night to come into my house. I don't know why it was circling my house and then decided to come in and scare the shit out of me in the middle of the night. But it left. I mean, it was transient. It's not something that was here before. It's not something that stayed. And I don't know what drew it in, but I feel like if I had not done what I did, I mean, it had the opportunity to take a foothold probably, but I wasn't letting that happen. Screw that. But things like that can grow into bigger things if you give it the attention, if you give it the energy that it's probably looking for.
Yeah, agreed. So on that premises, now that we've broken those down, that's what makes me. Okay, let me back it up. Whenever I first heard about the Warrens, when I was back in the day, like I think 80s or maybe early 90s, that's when I first heard about them. I wanted to believe, just like the Blair Witch Project. I really wanted to. When all the new movies hit, like The Conjuring and Annabelle and all that stuff, when it actually came out, I was like, yes, finally, man. Like it took foothold. The world's going to finally see. And then so I got into it so much that I actually started, watching their old TV show that they had. It was like a public broadcast systems TV show.
I think I saw that.
Yeah, with I think it was her son-in-law, Tony Sparrow, who was like the host, and they were basically guests, but he was hired by them, what I mean, son-in-law. But yeah, and I remember watching that, and then whenever the new stuff came out, I'm like, but then all the actual factuals started coming out about them and about the investigations. And it disenchanted me, and it got me to the point that now I'm seeing so much bullshit in it that I can't, eyes wide open, not shut anymore. Because I always took it with a grain of salt. Yeah, they could have been bullshit. Because anytime these paranormal investigators or whatever, when they're doing it for likes and subscribes and doing it for money and movie deals or book deals, then I start questioning it. Especially the fact that when they say that they're doing it just for the good of mankind or for Christianity or for the Catholic Church, like the Warrens did. They're like, oh, we don't want to make nothing off of it. Don't worry about it. And it's like, bullshit.
Yeah. But they were pretty early into it. So I think that they gained a lot of popularity because they were coming. I mean, I'm sure they got a lot of dirty looks and a lot of people calling them nuts. But there weren't a lot of other people at the time that they were coming out, right, on the talk shows, let's say, even though it might have been public broadcast, or, writing. I mean, of course, there were people writing books about it, but not a lot, not like you see today. I mean, YouTube and TikTok and all these things weren't around. We didn't have, the Sci-Fi Channel, which really launched, the paranormal shows like into the stratosphere. And I mean, this was all like back in the 70s when, all the parapsychology stuff was just, getting off the ground, like 60s, 70s, when it was like really taking off, like in its infancy. I think that's when it was really like building its roots up, and they were in there with that.
Yeah, no, they had the perfect cocktail. They were kind of like the Marilyn Manson of the paranormal world. Like they came in when no one else was doing it. I mean, that was visible to most people.
Well, yeah, because there wasn't a lot to compare to. People, why wouldn't people believe them? Why wouldn't they? Now we have all these other things. We have our own experiences. People are going out and doing it on their own. Like it's a pretty normal thing, I think, at this point. But back then it wasn't. And these people are, these brave souls that are going into these, extremely dangerous situations. And of course it's very dramatic because that's what people want to hear. It's the tabloid side of it. And not that some of them aren't dangerous situations. You can get into attachments all day long. Nobody wants that. That sucks. But, coming in on the grassroots of it and not having anything to compare and call bullshit on, a lot of people are going to believe it. I mean, that's of course they got popular and people were buying it and buying their books and, believing everything. So it wasn't until later on when everything started ramping up and more people are getting into it. And there's, you're able to compare and contrast that you're like, I don't think everything's a demon. Because I remember the first book of theirs that I read, I had never heard of these people before. I was in junior high. And I'm reading the book, and the first story, I mean, it was well written. I'm in junior high. I thought it was well written for me at the time. And it was, spooky. And I can't remember all the stories. I remember, I touched on it last night. Dudleytown was one of the ones they were talking about. And that's how I got introduced to Dudleytown, which is fascinating to me. I love the history of Dudleytown. I would love to be able to go into Dudleytown or Dark Entry Forest. And, they put me on that path. But, after a couple of stories in the book, I noticed a pattern, pretty easy to spot. And I'm thinking these people are, I don't know if I believe them. And I'm in junior high because not everything's a demon. It can't be. Are you kidding me?
Right.
It can't be.
Yeah. No, definitely. And back to that, and then there's also the, like I was saying earlier, the monetary or exploitation factor of it. A good horror movie isn't great if you don't have a good story. You know what I mean? Or a good villain or a good, creature. There's no fun in it. If you're like, oh yeah, so you can't write a book and go, yeah, so these people keep hearing banging on the wall. And we went there and, some nights there was banging on the wall, other nights there weren't. End of story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no, I don't know, there's no fright factor to it. And like what Grandizer was saying, I do believe that a lot of it, like I was saying earlier, it was a perfect amalgamation or meld of everything, because that's when the satanic panic. So you hear it came in, and now you got these two noble Christians, these Roman Catholic, and you notice how like losing shit. She like had the proper lick, she had the bun, she had the pearls, she had like that grandmotherish look, like they could do no wrong. You know what I mean? Like
it was put together. Yeah.
If she came out looking like a paranormal investigator, looked like Elvira, like people would be like, nah, this bullshit. But you give her, that very proper dapper look, I guess you could say. Is that only for dudes, or is dapper?
Well, I think that Yeah, I mean, well, she was also brought up in a time where self-expression really wasn't an option, like it is now. And I feel like you see a lot of the, paranormal investigators or the goth thing, and like everybody thinks that you have to dress in black. You like spooky things, you just dress in black. I don't dress in black. I don't, you know.
Even
And
though you're black.
it's so funny because I had a client, and one of my site managers was like, "You two are literally like the same person." He goes, "She's gothic Monica," because she would like wear all black. She had like, the black nails, which I'll do occasionally, but we had the same personality and the same interests. Like obviously my interests run very dark and everything. But if you see me on the street, I don't dress all in black. I don't dress goth. I dress kind of bright. I dress kind of preppy. I dress very like, professional colors. He goes, "She's the goth Monica and you're the Abercrombie Monica." So you can be into spooky things and not have to dress all in black. But she did come from an era where self-expression wasn't necessarily like approved of. Like,
Right.
She could have had, maybe, she would have expressed herself differently if she came from an era where repression, religious repression wasn't such a big thing. But then again, I'm not knocking anybody who's religious, but if you are deep in the church, I mean, that does play a big factor also on how you express yourself outward.
Yeah, absolutely. But also, by the same side of the token, the other side of the token, whenever you get into entertainment, it is about costume. You know what I mean? So even if she was like that in the beginning, and she could have had the freedom when the world was turning its change into letting your hair down or blah, 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 or whatever, she could have took that turn. But if you want to keep that same, like he could have grew his hair out, Ed could have went hippie with it. But if you want to look proper and look like a proper Christian and look, back then you would keep that costume because no one's going to take you seriously if you don't.
Exactly. She comes from an era where you can't express yourself for that exact reason.
And you just keep running that. And I don't know, another weird one about them is if you look at a lot of the photos whenever he's like talking, or even the shows, maybe it's just me. It could just be me. I'm gonna, but she's always looking when he starts spewing off. You can look at her, and she's looking at him like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Like that is so far off from They're just there. Trust me. I've been watching a couple documentaries since. So what got me on this point was a few nights ago. I was watching the new Netflix documentary. It's The Devil on Trial, where they're talking about the
one of their cases. Yeah, I know. Yeah. It was I think it was their last movie was based on that.
Yeah. The Devil Made Me Do It.
Yeah.
But when I was watching like the documentary and stuff, he's like, and we've seen these things and we watched it manifest. And she's like, look at him like,
did you watch it manifest?
Yeah. And okay. And I'm going to bounce around with this because it's not like I got a scripted, sheet to run by on these.
Bounce away.
But, one of the things that I noticed, and I really started taking a good look at it, that the little haunted museum that they got?
Yes.
Right. So I've seen a lot of shots of those recently while I'm having these different ideologies about them and how they are and if they're scammers or whatever. If you look at not the main shit that's in like the Annabelle and blah, blah, blah. But you look at just take one of the shelves and look at it. So these are all cursed objects that they've they've gotten from different investigations, and they found and they collected so that the demon would leave the home. You can take one of those shelves, and that's like 200 something investigations. It's like little trinkets and bottles, and like some of them are like plastic and new. Like I got more shit in my living room.
Haunted objects you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, dude, that little vial back there and that little beaker, that's not, that looks like something you bought at freaking, pre-Spirit Halloween, type of shit. I mean, they literally have in that freaking museum, they got at the Annabelle, right? The original Raggedy Ann, and they have the Annabelle from the movie in it. It's like in a case, just like the old one. And Tony
the one from the movie in the case? I mean, I know they have the Raggedy Ann, the real Annabelle.
Yeah, no, they got one from the movie, and Tony Sparrow's like, oh, this one is from the movie, but it's haunted too. So when we found this one,
looks creepy as shit. I wouldn't be surprised if something occupied it because it looks creepy as shit. Or enough people think it's haunted. It's haunted.
Right.
You can go that route too.
Yeah,
and
this is true.
Part of it, I mean, I don't know that they were outright scamming people. Like
right.
I'm just going to buy this bottle and tell everybody it's possessed, like outright. Blah. I don't know that is what was going on. Like, I think that they truly believed that they were doing a service to the community. I think that, they truly believed that those, I mean, maybe they were, because there are possessed objects. There are, I mean, when you go thrifting, when you go to estate sales, when you go and buy something, you don't know what's attached to it. Like, you can very easily bring something into your house, very easily.
Go and fuck around and buy a divot box, and you might have something on your hand.
Don't buy some creepy ass box that's like got wax seals all over it. Maybe don't do that. But
what I'm getting at is like, okay, say if I'm making a museum of possessed stuff and blah blah blah, right? Like I may have 20 to 30, maybe even 50 actual factual objects, but that's not enough to get people to come in and want to look at it. So I'm gonna put fillers in the whole thing. I'm gonna put like a little plastic skull here, and then
I mean, okay, so props.
Right.
I get that. I get props.
Yeah,
but
that's
I don't
what I'm
know.
saying.
I mean, but the deception is, are you making it obvious it's a prop, or are you trying to pass it off as another possessed?
Right. Are you making the museum look spooky and it does have actual shit in it? Or are you just going to keep it strictly, these are the things that we collected? And that's not,
you gotta zhuzh it up. I mean, any space, you've got to, I mean, you have to add props. You have to. You've got to give it atmosphere. Like just throwing a bunch of shit on the shelves and telling people to walk in is not going to be like museums don't even do that. So, I mean, there's got to be some sort of, proppiness and zhuzhing going on. But again, it's where you're either, it's clearly decoration, or you're trying to pass that decoration off as part of the display,
Right. And see, that's kind of how I sum up the whole thing, right? So it's kind of like half of it, in the investigations, half of it's prop, half of it is, you can't deny the original people who felt like the places that they were at were haunted. You can't say that, no, you didn't hear any bumps in the night, blah, blah, blah. So you take like the Amityville, right? So there was definitely something there, right? Because you had the murders, and then from the DeFeo murders.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had the Lutzes that moved in. So when, like, okay, with the Lutzes, it was, they found hoof prints in the snow, and they called the police out several times. If you actually go to the 28 days that they lived there, there was no snowfall. So kick that out of bed. The police had no records of them calling them and having them come out. Kick that out of bed, right? Now, was there ominous presence in the house because of maybe residual, energy in the house, right? Absolutely, and I'll believe that, no problem. The main photo that they have of the little boy in the, I don't know if you know that one.
The stairwell. Oh yeah,
stairwell,
yeah.
Well, if you really freaking look at it, you can see glass rims around it. So it's the reflection of the flash on the glasses. Like ghosts don't wear glass. Well, not that I know, but it's pretty freaking obvious, and it's very square. It's like the light isn't round like eyeballs. It's a freaking square, So, so that I call the part of the exaggeration.
Right.
You know what I mean? The thing with the Conjuring house, and how there was the Bathsheba, right? The witch that killed their daughter and then killed herself on the property. The actual real Bathsheba is buried on the property, but she never had a daughter, right? So it's a extenuation of the circumstances to make it more viable for a storytelling situation. You know what I mean? Same with the Devil Made Me Do It thing. That kid, he was experiencing something pretty dark and heavy in that house. And it did put him into a very weird zone.
Right.
But whenever the Warrens showed up, they were like right in front of the kid to the parent. They're like, oh, this is just the first stage. Pretty soon he's going to start talking in like growling languages, and he's going to start cussing and spitting. And because he wasn't doing that before, he's basically like in a state of depression, and then all of a sudden the next day, he's
well, sure, you implant that,
right, because it got planted.
Suggestion, yeah.
And then after that comes through, then it's and that was one of the things too, because like the dad didn't believe in none of that shit, and it would get to the point where he'd be like verbally abusive to his mother or whatever.
Oh, that's any teenager.
Yeah, but
for real.
Yeah, the dad would end up getting pissed off and go over there and smack the shit out and be like, sit down and shut up. And he would sit down and shut up. Like,
yeah.
like demons don't care. Demons are like, screw you, Dad, I'm going home.
Yeah.
What I'm saying?
They'll vomit on you and crab walk backwards down the staircase into the basement. Yeah.
Exactly. So, and then they coerced him with all this, because that was one of their last cases. And they coerced him. They were giving the mom, the dad was already like, he was like over it, and the oldest brother. And they were like taking them in limos and to talk shows and saying, oh man, when we get this book out, we're gonna make so much money. I think they ended up making like 60 something grand off the book and kicked the family like $5,000.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? So and it's their story. It's not the fucking Warren story. It's not their story. So who should be making the bread? Like if I'm an actual factual, honest to God Christian doing this for, for the help of the family and doing it for them, and I'm going to be like, no, dude, I'll take 5. Y'all take the 60.
No shit.
Your whole family's been, haunted and plagued by this situation. And damn, and now people are calling you crazy because you're bringing it to, out to the media, and people are looking at you sideways instead of being like, nah, we got Oprah coming up next weekend. And,
Right.
And trust me, it's going to be great. We're going to make mad money. Yeah. That to me is full on red flag. That it's not about the family or their mental health,
their well-being.
Their well-being, right? Yeah, financial, everything. It's about you making a buck. You know what I mean? And so that I call bullshit.
Well, that is certainly the way it seems.
Yeah. I mean, so, and then, okay. Then we get off into the babysitter, right? I don't know if you know about that.
The one from Amityville?
It was
or the one, the Warren's babysitter.
The Warren's real babysitter in real life, but yeah. But yeah, she was underage, right? Lorraine Warren, they moved the babysitter into the house. Lorraine Warren slept upstairs by herself, and Ed Warren slept with the babysitter. So he was having a whole, yeah. And I think she wasn't like incredibly underage, but still fucking underage. And I think she was like 16 or something like that.
Gross. I remember being 16. I remember being 17, and some 30-year-old dude tried to kiss me. And I was like, oh, dude, you're like my dad.
Right.
From that dude fast enough. I felt like I needed to scrub myself with hot bleach. I was like, oh.
It doesn't burn enough yet.
I still have skin on me.
But yeah, so okay, but then even if she was of age, right? And I'm not anybody to knock anybody's the way that their relationships work or whatever. I mean, like, even if she was of age and Lorraine understood it and just didn't give a shit and was like, dudes do what they do, yada yada yada, fine, whatever. But the fact of the underage part is, null and voids it, and trying to be this holy, exorcism given, because of his faith in God and in the church, and basically being like his own self-anointed priest that can exorcise demons, right? Now you're fucking up on a whole nother level. You know what I mean? Like, now you're showing characteristics that people that you're describing yourself as do not do, and lines that they do not cross.
Right.
You know what I mean? It'd be like a freaking drug counselor, hooking up one of his patients with dope so that he can get some on the side. You know what I mean? Like, that's not the position you're supposed to be taking,
Yeah.
So then you get into the fact that, well, me personally, I get into the ideology of, or I guess speculation of, if he wasn't like that originally and initially, and he was actually doing it for a righteous purpose, is if there was a clinger on that ended up turning him, to be the opposite of what he was trying to be in the first place. Right. An attachment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
because then you're talking money over everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Money over everything, sex over everything, betrayal of, people's trust, lies, deception, whole 9 yards. So maybe, I mean, I don't know. But that's kind of where my mind could go with it. Or he was just, a shiesty ass motherfucker from the get-go.
See, yeah. I mean, I'd only ever seen him like through old interviews on TV, like, obviously through reruns and whatnot. I mean, even when I was, younger and I read the book and, if I'd stumble across something that they were on, I would say that I always got a weird feeling about him.
It does seem like a creeper.
Yeah. But I mean, not knowing anything, because, you're telling me a lot of stuff I didn't know. But just, I knew the Warrens in general, like a very generalized view of them. I knew they had written some books. I knew that they were into, demonology, that they would go and exorcise demons, and they think that everything is demons. And, they were very heavily into the Catholic Church and the Catholic religion. And I knew all of that. But I didn't know them like personality wise. I knew that Lorraine was clairvoyant. But like deep into their personalities, I didn't know a ton. And like I said, you're telling me a lot, but I do remember like watching interviews with them and just thinking there's something off about Ed.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I agree. I it's instinctually, I guess. I kind of guess I always did kind of see her as like almost a victim herself. Because she was very, and I'm not trying to sound misogynistic or anything like that, but back in the day, in that era, it was the woman, you stay behind and
no, 100%
lead and blah blah blah.
I mean, she felt more oppressed. She felt oppressed. I mean, in the presence of him, I would say.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
She looked at him as the answer, and
but I mean, that is a generation where that's what the role was, 100%. So I wouldn't think that was an odd thing to think. Because it was very much, the man is the head of the household and the wife stays home and takes care of everything. And well, they were in a partnership with the, investigations in that business, I guess you could call it. They were from an era where, the woman did kind of submit to the husband. He was the head of the house. So, feeling that she was oppressed in his presence isn't necessarily an odd thing to feel when you're in, you've got a very strong male husband. And not that she's not a strong person, but she's definitely subservient to his personality.
Right.
Again, that's from an era where that is a very normal thing for a husband and wife. The dynamic would be very normal. Not saying that it's right or wrong. I'm just saying it would be
what it was.
odd. Yeah, for that generation. Yeah. But I mean, it is definitely a feeling that you get like when you watch them together, like during interviews or whatever.
Yeah. And I completely agree. It's one of those subservient feelings that you get about it. Oh, another weird one about the I was watching an interview with Tony Sparrow, and he was talking to like these new paranormal investigators that came out, and they're like, he's like, under absolute no circumstances should anybody ever touch Annabelle. Nobody should ever touch it. And they're like, yeah, and he's like, they're like, well, how did she get to Las Vegas? He's like, oh, well, I drove her. It's like, wait a minute.
Oh, but I took spiritual precautions.
Yeah. It's called money.
Well, I mean, you can protect yourself. You can protect yourself. You know that.
But I just think it was, I just thought it was a bullshit write-off. It's like, you know, I don't know. I just, in my feeling of it when I was watching it, I was like, yeah, no, that's bullshit. Because, you know, same thing with the, like you were saying about the movie doll, right? Like, yeah, if you put energy into something like that, then yeah, it can manifest itself into it. But like a lot of the things, like I damn near live at the gas station, and they have a replica of the old Annabelle doll, locked in a thing with the glass and everything. They got every freaking Annabelle doll from every movie. They got every horror thing you could ever think of. So that place should be like floating with, you know, and like a lot of times people come in there and they're definitely on, how would I say it without being rude? The opposite side of good, because they're taking the horror genre way too seriously.
Yeah.
So, you know, they come in there very dark natured people.
Those are such lost souls. I mean, I feel so bad for people like that. You're so lost. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's cool to be bad. You know? But
there's bucking the system, and then there's just being stupid.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, there's being
there's a difference.
Yeah, exactly. But so I think about that spot, because I've shown you pictures of there, and if you were to take it in a negative, like say you were a holy roller or whatever, and never seen nothing like that, like the inside of that place looks very dark and ominous. And I mean,
it's meant to. There's a reason. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, so I don't know, man. I just find part of the same thing like the gas station is. It's not really a dark place. It's some of the best times and best friends, and you know, hanging out with some of the most positive people I've ever met, you know, go and hang out there. And it's not, you don't get that presence of it. But if you were to look at it from an outsider looking in without knowing anything about that side of it, then it'd be easy to go, man, look, oh dude, you know, look at the, you know, low lighting and the wood, and look at all the freaking dolls and the, you know.
Yeah, but that's such a closed-minded approach. And you know that there are people that are going to do that, but anybody who's worth a shit is going to go into something with an open mind, right? And you're going to catch the vibe off the place. I mean, I hate to use it like a slang term but I mean, you're going to catch the vibes in the place, like the legit vibes, not just the atmosphere, right? It's a dark atmosphere because it's the freaking gas station. It's part of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's not supposed to be poppies and rainbows. You know, it's meant to be a dark aesthetic. But that doesn't mean that, you know, it's an evil place. It doesn't make it evil just because it's you know, the dark aesthetic. You know, the energy you put into it. You know, so if you've got a lot of positive people on the back end, chances are the vibes in the place aren't going to be bad. Even though it, you know, it's dark atmosphere, it's got the, you know, horror movie aesthetic.
The theme,
you know, you're gonna feel the vibrations coming off of it. Now, like if some of those lost souls were hanging out there for a while, you might catch some residual like negative energy coming off of it. But by and large, probably feels like a regular freaking place when you walk in.
Yeah.
You know, you can feel
yeah.
oppressive atmospheres when you go into a place that has truly got some funky vibes going on. You feel that shit before you walk all the way in the door. You do.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Like when I think about stuff like that, one of the ones that I've never been there, but just by looking at it, watching it, and so to me, this is more like the true aspect of like the horror museum type of a thing. It's not even a museum, but the Robert the Doll spot.
Yeah.
Like just watching that makes me go, yeah, I don't want to. I have no business going there at all. No, I'm good. I'll pass. You can offer me VIP. And that's just one. There's only that one dude, you know, it's only the one doll. It's not like, look at all these 470,000 trinkets we got in this one room. So dark and ominous. No, that one dude.
That's just decoration. That's just decoration.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I hate to sound like a hippie, but like the vibration, like the energy coming off the place doesn't come from the freaking decorations. It comes from the people in it, like what's being put into it, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree. So, yeah, so I guess my whole, since we reached the first hour, my whole wrap up about it is I'm not denying the people that, you know, felt that their homes were being infested by spiritual activity.
Yeah.
I'm not denying that there were possible either residual or spectral or even demonic things going on. But I do consider it like the Sandlot versus Major League Baseball. There's a bunch of commercialism. There's a bunch of outfits. There's, you know, everyone's got, you know, all the cool stuff, and then there's the original sport of playing baseball.
There's,
you know, just
doing it for the love of it, and then there's doing it for the paycheck.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. I got you.
Yeah, yeah. That's where I'm going on that. And that, I guess, wraps up, unless anybody in the chat has any follow-up with it. That wraps up my ideology of them. Speaking of the gas,
that's all I have to say about that.
Speaking of the gas station, so I'm going to be out there next weekend with...
Is it for your birthday?
Yeah, for my birthday, with the people from the Greasy Strangler, the actors and actresses. But I got this for my birthday. And it's you put a beer can in here. Beer can shotgun. And it lets you shotgun a beer without doing it all old school with the knife.
But come on, you got to do it old school.
That's you can also, and you can also put a shot in here. So, and then you pump it downward, then you take the shot first.
I'd die.
And then blast it.
I can't take a shot out of a shot glass. I'd die trying to take it out of a Nerf gun.
This is going to be awesome.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
So yeah, if you're in the is it San Antonio or Austin? What's it?
No, it's Austin. It's probably, I'd say 25, 30 minutes from the Austin airport.
Okay, so if you're in that area or you're within driving distance of that area, go down to the gas station, hang out with Joe for his birthday. Joe's birthday.
Yeah. I will be partying hard. So depending on what time you get there, it will depend on what side of Breezy you see.
He's going to be 46, yo. Go wish him a happy birthday.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Good times, great oldies. So we're free. We're free balling.
All right. My favorite.
Yeah.
We're going commando on topics.
Exactly. So if y'all got any suggestions or anything, shoot us one. Otherwise, we're gonna have to sit here and spin our wheels because we've been covering movies and books.
Those are easy.
Oh, you forgot to do your book recommendation last
I was
night.
talking about a bunch of books yesterday, so I just
Well, you were.
Because they were tying into the movies. So, I mean, in honor of, for anybody who didn't tune in to my show last night, so I did talk about a lot of books that tied into the horror movies that we were talking about. But I feel kind of sad that I didn't cover Rawhead Rex more, because that really is one of my favorite horror movies out of the 80s. And it is a short story from one of the Books of Blood.
Yeah. Clive Barker.
Clive Barker, Hellraiser. Right. So we know it's a good one. There's also the movie Books of Blood that is based on one of the short stories, Books of Blood. But the Books of Blood, and it's a series, right? So there's book 1, book 2. I think there's 3 or 4 books. But I couldn't get through them. They're messed up stories. Clive Barker, I don't know how the man sleeps at night, because whatever's dancing through his little noggin to be writing stories like that has got to be horrific. So I do recommend Books of Blood. Pick a volume, doesn't matter. But I'm not sure which one Rawhead Rex is in, but I recommend you read the short story Rawhead Rex, and then you rent the movie and check it out if you haven't seen it yet, because it was pretty awesome. I really liked it.
Oh yeah, I'll check it out. Actually, if you text me after the show, remind me, and I'll watch it tonight.
Absolutely. Let's see if I can pull up. I'll do it on my phone so we don't have to try to share it on the StreamYard. Yeah. Rawhead Rex.
Sage Apocalyptic Theories. Oh man, dude, I got a few. That would be a whole freaking show. And Grandizer Halloween Music.
That is.
Oh, okay. I remember the art. Okay.
Yeah. And let's see which one of the Books of Blood he was in. He's also kind of Bloody Bones, which is an American folk legend, right? Bloody Bones. It's kind of like Rawhead Rex.
And no, not this.
Because Rawhead Rex, I think, really is like a Celtic, folk story. Rawhead Rex.
Yeah, Sage. I buy the ancient apocalypses and the future ones too. Especially when you get into the Mayan calendar, as far as the 7. I forget what it is, but it's like the 7 peoples: the people made of corn, the people made of dirt, the people made of corn. Okay. Yada. And the Great Resets. I buy those.
Yeah, we have the Great Mud Flood, which I still don't. It's bullshit. So Rawhead Rex is in volume 3 of the Books of Blood. Check it out.
I love that.
It is bullshit.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Bullshit, dude. It's fucking bullshit. It's so much bullshit. It hurts my head to think that people believe.
No cranes, and you're building. Okay. Not to get into it, but I was thinking about that the next day when you're like, "Yeah, that was all bullshit." The insane asylums, right back in the 1800s, they housed 700-800 900 to 1,000 people.
Yeah, people went there from all over the country. It wasn't just the immediate population.
But they were in each city.
Yeah. No, they weren't in each and every city in the United States.
Not each and every city, but
They were in major
cities.
cities in the United States, and people from surrounding counties and in states would send their population that they deemed lunatic or they just didn't want to deal with to the insane asylums.
What about the giant orphanages?
Same thing. They would abandon children in the orphanages. They weren't necessarily orphans. People fucking suck.
I just think
those buildings dump off what they didn't want to take care of at these places.
Yeah, but I've been in many mental institutions, and they're not that big.
Yeah, in Podunk, Texas, dude. You're talking about places in like New York, which was still a big city back in the 1800s. Okay. Philadelphia was a big city back in the 1800s. So was Chicago.
Okay, no, you're right, and that was all New England territory, and that's basically where the entire population resided, at the time, because
consider it like immigrants were coming over on the regular still. Like Ellis Island was there for a reason. Like there was a lot of people streaming into the country on the regular. Like New York was not some like, little mom and pop slow town. That was a friggin' bustling metropolis back in the 1850s. So
that's a good one too. It's kind of a side shoot, but didn't you always remember, I know I do, that the Empire State, not the Empire State Building, but the Statue of Liberty was built on Ellis Island? Do you remember that? I remember that. And that's how everyone got through. There was like a whole thing underneath it, and they got checked in. You know what I mean? On Ellis Island, they are right there.
Symbol of the country, but you didn't actually go through the statue.
Well, not through the statue, but there was like a building on the island, and that was like the immigrant. I remember
Ellis Island was the immigration station, yes, but I don't know where the statue. I'm not going to lie, I don't know where the Statue of Liberty was placed.
Yeah, no, the Statue of Liberty apparently now. See, I remember it always being on Ellis Island, but apparently now in this new dimension.
In our new timeline?
In our new timeline, it was like Island of the Americas or something like that. And I was talking about her yesterday too, a friend at work. She's like a buddy of mine, but she went to New York recently. Mm-hmm. She's like, no, it wasn't Ellis Island. It was the Island of Americas, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, she's the same age as I am. I'm like, I remember wasn't it even like in The Godfather? Like whenever Vito Corleone comes in and he's on Ellis Island and the Statue of Liberty's on the island. I don't know. That's just how I remember it.
I don't remember. I didn't pay that much attention, and I've never been to New York.
Me neither, and I'm not going to go. Jen wants to go
to New York.
I do not at all.
I don't like people enough to want to be around that many of them.
Exactly.
I don't My family came here way before Ellis Island was a thing. Like way before Ellis Island was a thing.
Look it up. You're a fast typer. Look up what island is the Statue of Liberty on. Because I remember it being on Ellis freaking Island.
This Liberty Island.
Liberty Island.
The Statue of Liberty is located on Liberty Island, which is part of the Statue of Liberty National Monument in Upper New York Bay.
See? Different timeline. That was when the Earth was
It says
round.
the statue is located on Liberty Island, a short ferry ride from America's most famous immigration center, Ellis Island.
See, now they're two different islands.
I didn't know if they were or weren't. I'm not even gonna lie. I couldn't tell you if they were or weren't in my original timeline.
Yeah, see. I'm calling it.
Okay. I mean, I don't doubt CERN did some funky stuff with those damn particles.
Have you gotten to watch that?
Probably not.
No.
Probably not. I'm just going to tell you right now.
The intro ceremony, the CERN.
Oh no! I've seen that. Which is really weird.
Really
weird. I remember watching it thinking, who the hell put that together? Like, who thought that was a good idea? You know.
Yeah. As a project manager, I couldn't imagine that project.
Well, I can imagine the project, but as a PR manager, I can't imagine that being a good idea.
Right. Yeah.
Like if you're running a top secret, like world control organization that's shifting effing timelines, maybe don't do a whole satanic, like we love the devil shit show to like kick off the opening of your new, we're going to shift timelines every few years collider.
Tone it down a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe don't shoot off fireworks and, have girls dancing across the stage and shine a bright spotlight on it.
That was the part I liked. I mean,
well, yeah, that's what most people would like, I imagine. I mean,
but yeah, that's a weird one, man. I just, no matter how far, like, no matter how much bullshit is called on the Mandela effect and what yada yada yada, or CERN being, that's just straight up fucking weird. Like, no.
Yeah, whether or not CERN's like shifting our timelines, that's still a really weird like opening ceremony. Like all the symbolism that went on in that. I'm like, are you for real? Like,
yeah, yeah. Like if that was like the opening of Tesla, it'd be like, what in the actual fuck am I watching? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's a corporation, a company.
Yeah, I mean, because I went with it with an open mind, because I heard everybody's like, oh my gosh, it's so satanic. Oh my gosh, all this, they're doing this and this. And I was thinking, oh, these people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They're thinking everything. I mean, because there's somebody who's going to find conspiracy in everything. And I figured that's who I was hearing talking. So when I watched it myself, I was like, oh, yeah. There's a lot of symbolism going on in that. Yeah.
Very, very. Which says, will there be is space fake show to follow the flat Earth show?
Is there a fake space? I don't know. Monica's head might explode if we go too far.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll do a flat Earth show because, man, flat Earth is one of those things. It's like being at Thanksgiving, right, with your family. You don't discuss politics or religion because
or flat Earth.
It'll quickly ruin the mood, and flat Earth really does.
No, I mean, I'll listen to it. I mean,
well, no, I mean just in general, like it'll either tune people in or tune them way the fuck out. It's just like politics. It's like. Because it's the way I always say it is, it's harder to convince people that they've been lied to than to lie to people in the first place. So.
I mean, I'm open-minded enough. Like, if you give me something that can be tested and proved, and like, if there were a lot of credible people going out and testing that theory, and coming back with evidence of it, I would listen. But nobody's sailing. I mean, and there are people that have the capability. Nobody's sailing to these ice walls, right? Where's the proof?
Oh, they actually did. Red Bull actually put out an expedition, like I'd say like 2 weeks ago, and they found the freaking ice wall.
Okay, so where is it? Where's the video? Why is that all? I mean,
it's out. I saw it on.
Is it an ice wall?
On,
I mean, or did they give their geolocation so I can see where it is on a map? Or are they on the edge of freaking Antarctica on an ice shelf, and they're calling it the ice wall? Like,
right. Well, so okay,
cough up some compelling evidence for me to look at, and I will.
Yeah, the best. Okay, so the best evidence that I know of the ice wall, and I'm not going to get into flat Earth or anything like that,
right?
But of the ice wall is that this is way back in the gap. Whenever we're talking like sailboats and shit, when they're doing excavations for maps, and they were talking about how the distance of it was 10 times or something than it should have been going around Antarctica. And not only could they not hang a left, they had to continuously hang a right. So they had to continuously go this way.
Yeah.
And not.
Because you're at the bottom. That's all you can do.
Right. But no, but they were going in, they would try to steer away from like the Americas and the continents and Australia and all that, but they would continuously be pushed towards them. I mean, those, and there's a couple others that support the ice wall, but not necessarily support flat Earth. And what fucks flat Earth up is and I've said this before, is all the fucking idiots that are, like I remember when I first got into it, dude was talking about, oh, well, if the Earth's rotating, then I should be able to lift up in a helicopter in New York and wait for California to land underneath me. And I was like, yeah, that's true, man. And then one day I was in my car, and there was a fucking mosquito in it, biting me all the shit. And I remember going, wait, if that's true, he should be stuck on the back windshield because I'm doing 70 forward, but he's still just, chilling, flying around, biting the shit out of me.
Atmosphere does that.
Yeah. So it's certain things like that you got to be very careful on, as far as going, yeah, that's proof right there, man. Because it's fucking not. You got to go deeper than that. You got to go way deeper than that. And yes, the plant, like we were talking about the planetary systems. Yeah, we can zoom in on like the inner planetary system, but with like, I'm just gonna shut up because I'll go down. Yeah, I'm just gonna shut up. But it does look like when you look at stars, like actual stars from other other universes and galaxies, they do have a very watery effect to them. I'll just say that they have this.
What do you mean?
They look like shimmers in water. They don't have like a physical definition.
Looking at them, how?
Like through telescopes and shit. Like they're
like from the Earth?
Yeah, like from the Earth.
Have you been to what am I trying to say? An observatory?
Yep, I have.
And you think that that's a watery effect?
Yep. Well, I think it's okay. So this is how I put it. And take for granted that I've always believed that in the original in the original timeline that the Earth was a globe, right? I don't believe it is now in this time. And yes, I'm crazy. But okay, back in like the 80s and 90s, whenever inkjet printers came out and shit like that,
Right.
there was a certain point where you could literally put like a dollar bill on a printer and print it, and it would come out like a dollar bill. There was a point where they made it to where it recognized it as a dollar bill and it would come out blank. It'd come out just like a black rectangle.
Okay.
So if you take that kind of technology into account, then it's almost like AI intercepts it and goes, no, that's not what you're really seeing. This is what you're really seeing. Because we don't have, as civilians, we don't have anything powerful enough to actually look at it. You got to actually go to an observatory, right?
To look at what, though? To look at Saturn or
To look at
Jupiter?
no, like distant stars, like outside of our
Like Alpha Centauri or
like stuff
okay.
like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Anything
So
outside of our observable universe.
well, yeah.
And another weird one to me, kind of like the CERN thing, is the I think it's in Arizona or New Mexico, but it's one of the biggest observatories, and it's owned by the Catholic Church. And the name of the observatory is Lucifer. Like, how the fuck does that work? Deception, right?
Really?
Yeah.
The largest observatory in the U.S.?
I think it is. Yeah. Clickety clack it. Catholic Church Observatory, Lucifer. Yeah, it's actual factual. It's
The Keck Observatory in Hawaii is the largest observatory in the United States.
Okay, I'll go with that. But there is a Lucifer.
Okay,
there is a Lucifer observatory.
Okay, let's look at Catholic Church Observatory. The Vatican Observatory. Does the Vatican Advanced Technology Telescope, the VATT, is located in Mount Graham in southeast Arizona. It is part of the Mount Graham International Observatory. The Vatican Observatory Group operates the Alice Lennon Telescope, the Alice P. Lennon Telescope with its blah, 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 blah. It's the Stewart Observatory.
All right. Let me take a crack at it. I one finger type. How do you spell observatory? Oh, there we go. All right. What does the Catholics have? Mount Graham near Tucson, right? What is the controversy? What the fuck? Dude, I swear, because I've looked this up before.
Was it conspiracies.com that gave you that information?
No. See, because you can look it up, Lucifer Observatory, and it says the telescope's located in Mount Graham, blah, blah, blah. Does it? Because it's supposed to stand for something. It's like...
It says Lucifer was never the name of a telescope, let alone a telescope owned by the Vatican. This is a false rumor that keeps making rounds.
All right. Well, I'll succeed to this, but I've looked it up before and I've seen it. As Lucy, the fact that Lucifer was never the name of the telescope. Yeah. All right. I'll partially subside to that. But I'm telling you, I've seen it. I've seen it with my own eyes. It's called Lucifer.
It's an infrared utility camera. Okay, so a new instrument with an evil sounding name is helping scientists see how stars are born. Lucifer, which stands for Deep Breath, Large Binocular Telescope Near Infrared Utility with Camera and Integral Field Unit for Extragalactic Research, is a chilled instrument attached to a telescope in Arizona. And yes, it's named for the devil, whose name itself means morning star, but it wasn't meant to evoke him, according to a spokesman for the University of Arizona, where it's housed. It doesn't have anything to do with the Vatican. Doesn't have anything to do with the Vatican.
Oh, I know what they did. They just changed it on Google.
So it stands for.
What they did.
Yeah, so it's next door to the Vatican telescope, but it is not part of the Vatican. So,
yeah, Melvin's got it. They scrubbed it out. Because at one point it was.
Wow, that's a long ass name. And I don't know how they got Lucifer out of it, but yeah, okay. The Morning Star, yes, which is one of my names on Instagram.
Is it now?
It is. I am Morning Star on Instagram.
Well, it's funny because not to get religious or anything like that, but Christ himself also called himself the Morning Star. And the devil, or Lucifer, is known as the Morning Star.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Just a weird factoid, I guess, or theoretoid, whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
Because I wasn't there when it was wrote, so I don't know. And I haven't been to space, so I don't know. It could totally be.
I have no desire to go to space. It is terrifying.
The ocean's more terrifying than space to me.
They're both terrifying. I don't want to go to either one. Deep ocean, anywhere in space.
I wouldn't mind going to space. I mean, if it was actually
it
was.
Fucking kidding me? I don't want to go anywhere in space. Like if the Earth was going to die, I would have a real hard time getting on that ship to, like, evacuate Earth. That's how scared of space I am. Like, I'd be like, evacuate Earth.
Should I go now?
Get on the spaceship and live, or stay here and definitely die. Because there's a good chance you're not going to live in space either. So,
all right. If someone said go live in the Mariana Trench or go to space,
shit. They both suck, and you're probably going to die in both of them. It's like death or death.
Right, yeah.
Death or death.
Yeah, no, I'd go with space.
Pyromedic. Wasn't Custer known as son of the Morning Star? Probably. He was an asshole.
General Custer?
Yeah, fuck him.
Yeah, he got it. He got what he had coming to him. Yeah. No, he got it. He got it in the end. What was the one? Was it Ulysses S. Grant? They had the theory, or not the theory, but there is a speculation that I think it was Grant, right? That he died way before he died, and that okay. So you remember like back in the Gap when they would take pictures, with the that
the bulb, and you have to stand there for 30
and you have
seconds.
to stand there.
Yeah, the tintype.
And and they have like pictures of families, and everyone's fuzzy except for one person, and that's because they were already deceased.
Yeah, because they were the only one not moving.
Right. Yeah. And there's a bunch of those about, I think it was Grant, where he was supposed to be alive, and you can literally see like a base, kind of like you put like a doll on or whatever, where he's like posed up, but he wasn't really there. He was already done gone.
They propped his ass.
Yeah, they propped his ass up. Have you heard that one before?
No.
That's
like a marionette.
they're like, yeah, just posing.
That's horrible. That was all the rage there for a while, though, was posing with your dead loved ones.
That's fucking creepy, dude.
It's part of life. I mean, especially, back in the day, you had to dig your own grave. You had to, your family cemetery was, if you owned land, it was in your backyard. I mean,
yeah. No, that's true. But I mean, I think it's, well, and it's because of our common culture that, you find that morbid as shit. But I just find that morbid as shit.
We end up burning.
Yeah, exactly. That was a good one, Cowboy.
Bye. Ever see the show Reservation Dogs? Yes, I have.
Yeah, I got the porn parody. It's awesome.
There's in a gopher hole. I love him. William Knife Man.
And I totally agree with the tipping factor of that movie.
What,
remember where he's like, "No, I refuse to tip."
Are you talking about Reservoir Dogs?
Oh yeah, never mind. I read it wrong. Sorry. I was like, I got the.
This is Reservation Dogs. It's about the kids on the res.
Yeah, I read it too fast.
Yeah, you got to see Reservation Dogs. You got to, because this kid's like having visions of like an ancestor, like William Knife Man, and it's Dallas. Oh God, what's that actor's name? Dallas
Gage?
Dallas Gold something. He's hilarious.
Is it old, new? What are you talking about?
Yeah, no, it's new. So it's a few years old. It's probably like in its third season.
Oh, it's a series. That's why.
Yeah.
I pick and choose my series very carefully. I don't know if I've told you that whole spiel, but I refused series all the way until maybe like 5 years ago. Like, so Sopranos, Sons of Anarchy, Walking Dead. Never watched any of them. I hated them. I refused to. Then I got drunk one night and I was like, oh yeah, that Orange is the New Black has Donna's boobs from that 70s show. And for like 3 weeks, I was stuck watching that. And I'm like, when is it going to stop? I can't stop watching.
So, God, you haven't seen any series? Like you didn't watch
After I did that, then I went into Stranger Things, and I got into Sopranos, and I got into, a few others. I still haven't seen, I used to call it Sucks on Assholes, Sons of Anarchy.
I never got into that. Chris did. I didn't. I couldn't get into it. And watched I resisted forever, but everybody told me I'd like The Office. It took me like 4 episodes to get over the boss. Oh, what's his name? Michael.
Oh, loud noises. That dude.
Yeah, no, yeah. What's his name?
Weatherman from.
Yeah, the weatherman from Ron Burgundy.
Yeah, Ron Burgundy.
Yeah, because he was just so stupid. I was like, and so annoying. Like, it took me 4 episodes to get past that. But I ended up liking it. And then Ted Lasso. I love Ted Lasso.
I know not this is what you speak.
Ted Lasso.
That's a show, Ted Lasso?
Yeah, it's like, I think 3 seasons. And it's it's kind of a feel good like sitcom. He's about a American soccer coach who goes over to England to coach pro football.
You mean
which
soccer?
Is, soccer. They call it football.
Yeah,
but yeah, they call it.
I refuse. Yeah, no, I couldn't do the freaking Office. It was too dry comedy for me. But I like all the individuals that are in it. I love them in other shit, but
I love the way that they tormented Dwight. Like, what's his name was tormenting Dwight. Like, that's what I would do to somebody in my office. 100%.
You just stick it to your own personality.
Yeah, I would.
I love that. That's awesome.
I would. And I'm not saying that maybe I haven't done that before to people.
You're that person at the office.
Leave me alone. Like, leave me alone and I will leave you alone. That's my motto in life. Don't make me focus on you.
Well, I already fucked up then. I'm like, yeah, come on to the show. It's good.
I mean, if I'm just tweedledeeing through my day and you're in my periphery, just stay there. Just stay there.
I shall throw verbal snakes upon you.
I will throw literal snakes in your mailbox. I mean, yeah. I can tell you, like, I threatened one of my coworkers.
This is juicy. I gotta hear
in front of the owner of the company. I was so mad. Oh. I was so mad.
Dallas Goldtooth.
Yep, it's Dallas Goldtooth.
What is he, native?
Yeah, the whole cast is.
Oh, okay. All right.
It takes place on the res.
All right. I'll dig it. I'll check it out then. Have you ever seen Smoke Signals?
Mm-mm.
Dude, you're probably going to have to, if you get it, you probably have to buy it because it was an independent native movie. So you can't like rent it on Prime or anything like that not that I know of, but highly recommended. It's a damn good. It's made by natives, for natives, with natives.
Sweet. Yeah. I endorse the native. Everything.
And there's a lot of fry bread in it.
Oh shit, you can't go wrong with fry bread.
No shit.
Can't go wrong. I want fry bread.
I've told you that, right? Jen makes for a white chick. She makes.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, dude. She makes fry bread that'll freaking put you in a food coma. And then she'll like fuck it up and like put syrup on it.
What?
Yeah, she'll like do it like pancakes, and I'm like, that's weird, but damn, it's good. It's really good.
Don't white
Like,
it up.
yeah, she whites it. Yeah, she'll put like syrup and powdered sugar, and it becomes like a donut. You're like,
does that with tortillas. Like if I'll make tortilla, he like puts butter on them, which I'm already like, okay. Then he puts like cinnamon and sugar on it, and I'm like, fuck you. Stop that.
you're whitening up my native culture, man.
Like half of me's outraged.
Well, shit, we got 10 minutes before we reach the 2-hour mark. If anybody in the chat has questions or so, okay, back to the events. So we got the Greasy Strangler, we already did that.
Mm-hmm.
But December they're doing the Mallapalooza, so it got reinstated.
Did they get fire sprinklers put into the mall?
Yeah, they fixed them all up.
That is a task.
They fixed the mall 2 days after the event was supposed to happen, so we missed it by like, by not even an inch. But I don't know if I'm gonna do it personally. I mean, it'd be cool if we went there, but we got the New Orleans trip like
in January,
the very next month. Yeah.
Who all's going to New Orleans with us? Who's going to meet us there?
Yeah.
Who's going to meet us there? Who wants to come hang out with me? Who wants to come hang out with Joe? Yeah. If you don't like me, you probably like Joe.
Yeah. Exactly.
He's a cool cat.
Yeah. And, I'm a drinker, so I'm.
And you guys can go, sit at the opening of the alley and be like, flat earth man. And the bullshit.
Flat earth man.
Watery stars and shit.
They're in water, man. Telling you.
Ice walls. And staplers.
You want to see some ice walls? Open up the trench coat.
See that map?
Show you some ice walls.
Made by a cartographer in 1760. You know it's legit.
Yeah, exactly. Because they had tape measures, man. But no, that'll be fun.
Old school. Yeah, it's going to be fun. So I'm trying to think. I mean, there's going to be.
Have you gotten a spot lock down yet?
No.
For all
dude, if I had time to do shit for myself, no. I'm not even sleeping 8 hours a night, dude. No.
Yeah. Jen was just like, because the ones you showed me, Jen was just like, she's like, I like her style. And that's how I'd want to kick it. And I'm like, dude, I don't get, I'm like, I'll sleep on the side of a building. I don't give a shit. She's like, no, I'm not. She said the same thing you did. I'm bougie. I'm not gonna. Yeah.
I'm bougie in that regard. Like, if I'm gonna spend my money, it ain't gonna be cheap. I mean, it's not gonna be like I'm not staying at the Ritz-Carlton either. Like, I'm not spending $1,400 a night.
Do you do the camera detectors and all that and the shit whenever you go to Airbnbs?
Do it. Oh, to see if they're filming me?
Yeah.
Give a shit.
Or the little extra lock doors where you put the thing in the lock and you put the pin in it. So even if someone has
I'd do that in a hotel room before I'd do that in an Airbnb. Because I don't. Okay, so no, let me take that back. Airbnb, which I've only rented from one time, And that was actually the last time I went to New Orleans. My girlfriends and I rented this place. We thought we were kind of on the fringe of the Garden District. We were about 2 blocks in the wrong direction, on the wrong side of St. Charles. So it was a little sketchy, let's call it. And I rented that place, or we all agreed on that place, because my friend Stephanie and I were going to be driving in, and Natalie was flying in, and she's going to meet us. She's going to get an Uber and meet us there. So I rented that house because it had a driveway you could park in and gates that locked. That's the whole reason I wanted that place, because New Orleans is, it's a major city. There's crime, right?
Like Houston, yeah.
Yeah, like anywhere, any major city. So we get there. The effing gate is padlocked. So we had to park on the street the first night. And there's a lockbox like Airbnbs do. There is the whole yard is gated. Again, I liked it because the whole yard was gated, right? Everything was, locked up, which was nice, because it's, it's 3 women. I wanted to feel secure, wanted everybody to feel secure. So we get there, we open the lockbox. There is the garden gate. There is a iron door gate, screen. And then there's the front door locks, right? Every single one of those had a different key. We had a ring of keys, and each
right.
A quest. It was like a freaking game quest. And I had to memorize, and I'm telling you, I only had to open those gate once to memorize which key was which, because that's how my brain works, which is so weird to me. So they would hand me the keys, and I'd have each key ready to if we were coming home at night to unlock it, get in the gate at least, and then we could kind of take our time opening the, the screen door and then the front door. But yes, Airbnb is kind of shady. So I've heard so many weird stories about Airbnbs that I would probably get something like those alarms, but if I was traveling alone and I was in a hotel, I would definitely get one of those. But I usually rent from VRBO. I've rented a lot from VRBO. I've never had an issue with VRBO. It seems safer to me than Airbnb. So.
Hey, Spanish says, Monica, what's your special power when you're drunk? Curious to know. I am too. What is your special power when you're drunk?
When I'm drunk? I don't know. Guess we're going to have to find out, huh?
I would imagine it would be the attitude.
No.
You can scare the shit out of certain people if you're toasted.
I mean, my superpower is probably that I think I have superpowers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. The eye twitch. You better
I'm not scared of shit when I'm drunk. I'm oh, let's go pet the alligator. That sounds like a good idea.
Oh, big
break into the zoo. I want to commit felony crimes when I'm drunk. That's what my superpower is. And I have zero fear of committing them.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, because when we were because I told you that first night in New Orleans, we walked to dinner, and it was probably farther than we should have walked the first night. It was, it was the same time that we're going to be going. So it's the middle of winter, and you don't think it, but New Orleans is effing cold. That wind was whipping in off the Mississippi River. And I mean, we had to walk a minute to get to this restaurant. And when we were coming back, we passed this, I want to say it was 7-Eleven, but again, our Airbnb was 2 blocks on the wrong side of St. Charles Street. And this group of homeless dudes were hanging out in front of the 7-Eleven. We really hadn't had any issues up to this point. I mean, we were passing some sketchy ass abandoned houses on dark streets, and we didn't have any issues. But when we passed, and it was well lit, we passed the 7-Eleven. There's a group of homeless guys kind of hanging out there, and one of them peeled off and started following us. It was very obvious what he was doing. And I was like, come on, motherfucker. Because my girlfriends, I mean, one of them, she was in the center because she left her coat at home, God knows why. So she was freezing. So I was on one side, Natalie was on the other. We were trying to keep her warm. She had like a little itty bitty can of mace. And so it was clear this dude was following us. And, you know, we were getting ready to walk into a darker, you know, part of the street. There was no way around it. We had to go that way. And Natalie was like, I can talk. I can distract him by talking. And Natalie's like, and Stephanie was like, you know, well, I'll spray him with mace. And I was like, listen, I'll MacGyver some shit. I will stab him with a goddamn tree branch. Like if he attacks us, I'll make a weapon out of whatever the hell is around us. Like if there is a beer bottle on the ground, I will smash that bitch. It's like, I will MacGyver a weapon out of an acorn if I got it. I was like,
nod down.
Don't do it, bro. Don't do it. I was throwing off that, you know, tonight's not the night, and I am not the one. This is not the group. Nobody yelled anything. I was like, I mean, if I'm drunk enough, I'll be like, I won't say shit. I'll be like, come on.
Yeah. That's how I get it.
I hope you'd come towards me. Come on.
Yeah, I stopped talking. Like when I get silent, that's when you know it's about
yeah,
to go.
my little squirrels, my little hamsters running in that wheel. Like I'm gearing up.
Yeah, Jen's the opposite. Jen, she'll like start freaking you know, putting it over the, what do you call it? What was that thing they used to have in the 80s? You had the trigger on it, the loudspeaker. Like Jen's one of those. She's like, you want a piece of this? Come get it, blah 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 blah.
She just goes straight nuts.
Yeah, and then as soon as they make a move, she just jumps behind me.
Oh, not me. I'll jump straight on. Like, come on. I'll stand there like Nolan Ryan on the mound when that dude bum rushed him. Bring it.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I don't even think I was that drunk, but I was like, okay, like, I mean, when it's time to go, it's effing time to go. Like, I thought we were going to legit have to fight a dude. I mean, it's different. I mean, there were 3 of us, right? So,
yeah, the odds are stacked up. Yeah, even though you're female. Yeah,
grown ass man. I mean, still, I mean, the odds were in our favor, especially when you've got, you know, somebody with a can of mace, and me just probably would have snapped like a psycho. I mean, I got a lot of pent up rage. I don't think you people understand. Like, I got a lot of pent up fucking rage.
It'd be like that. What was that? Death Proof. I don't know if you saw that. The Quentin Tarantino. There's like, it was a double movie like Demon Knight and Bordello. But it's Quentin Tarantino and his Death Proof.
Oh yeah, it's right. It's
Kurt Russell.
The Grindhouse movies.
Grindhouse movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
I mean, I don't want my leg cut off and replaced with a freaking gun.
Well, that was the other one, but the Death Proof
like
was the one where the chicks teamed up on him at the end and just literally pummeled the shit out of it, dude.
Yeah, I mean, try me. Like, I mean, you and I had that conversation. I'd probably get my ass kicked, but I mean, I'd go down swinging.
At least you got the balls to do it. That's all that matters.
And I'd fight dirty. I mean, I'm going for your jewels, dude. You better be wearing a cup if you're coming at me. That's the first place I'm going.
Damn it, now I gotta buy a mug.
Right? I'll kick you between the legs like I'm trying to make a field goal, and then my palm's going up into your nose.
Damn, you ain't fucking around.
I ain't fucking around. If you're a grown ass man coming at me, I ain't playing.
That is true.
I've been punched one too many times by a dude in my life. I'm good. I don't need it again.
Oh yeah. Well, shit, man. We hit the 2-hour mark, and I know you're an early bird, and we'll call it. Awesome show. I think it went great.
It did. Lots of fun.
Yeah, as always. So what do we got planned? Okay, so next week we got Halloween weekend, right?
No,
Halloween.
that's the week after next, I thought. Right?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
24th and 25th.
Yeah, you're right. That's my birthday week. So yeah, we'll do your show. You got anything lined up, or you're just gonna
for next week? I gotta think
swing
about that.
from the hip?
Well, I mean, a lot of people made suggestions in the chat on my show last night, so I got to go through those and see if anything can be.
I never read my chats.
You don't? Come on.
Nah, I don't. I'm just like, how many views did I get? Cool. Other than that, yeah.
What did we learn about Monica tonight? You better sneak up from behind.
Right. And hope Breezy's not there.
Because he's got my back. He's got my back.
Then you're in for some real shit. We 1-2 punch it.
She turns into Hyde at the drunk state. Oh, I wasn't drunk. Coming back from dinner. I was, mildly concerned for my safety.
Yeah, I don't have anything planned for next week either. It'll be Friday for.
Did you ever get your guys to like reschedule that show that you were wanting to do? Your rapper
dude? No, we might do that. That's actually a good point.
Get their asses on here.
Yeah, we might do Friday night. So what I was gonna do, what she's talking about is, so for y'all that don't know, I used to do music. So we're gonna do. I did it for like 20 years. Used to rap and throw big shows in Houston, San Antonio, Dallas, Austin. So we were going to do kind of a show on all the partying and groupies and craziness that used to go on.
I will have nothing to contribute to that. Just I will have absolutely no.
But you used to go partying in a club, and so it'll be kind of, we'll get kind of into the same thing. Like, yeah, I remember. I don't know if y'all know who Cottonmouth Kings is. Do you know who Cottonmouth Kings is, Monica? They had like a big, like when Sublime was out, they had like a big kind of a reggae rap kind of a following. And I remember we were backstage and they had all their, I don't know if people know, but your music equipment comes in these big crates. So you carry these big crates in. And I went backstage and I was chilling, waiting to go on stage after or before them or after them. I don't remember. And they're Cali Cats.
Okay.
If you listen to it, you might be like, oh yeah, I remember that song.
I might. Yeah, I might.
And I was like ripping rails off of their music equipment. And dude comes out and he's like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? And I was like, what, bro? He's like, you can't be doing that off of our dude. And he's like, palming the dust off of it. I'm like, hey, dude, that's like $20, man. He's like, dude, no, dude. And I'm like, all right, by the end of the night, I'm stealing your chick. But there's a a bunch of similar stories, and we might be doing some of those if I can get those. They're ex-musicians, so their punctuality isn't always on point. But
I think my most interesting music story is when I got punched in the boob by the lead singer of Saliva.
oh yeah, I remember that one. Oh no, we got some. I got good ones where, well, we'll get into that when we get into it because, yeah. But yeah, we might do that. I'll see if I can coerce those cats to, coming on in and BSing about the old times. But yeah, if not, we'll figure something out interesting for you cats and kittens and figure it out. And then after that is the Halloween.
Probably not going to do my show that week because I got to take Lucas out, and Halloween's on Thursday night, which is my show night. Right. So we'll dress up for your show.
If we dress up, or
I'm coming on full Day of the Dead.
Okay, cool.
Dia de los Muertos. Not Day of the Dead, the movie.
Yeah. On that one, what I'll probably do is get Scott and Derek on, and maybe even Lance, and we'll do a dive into the Halloween franchise. Which, hold on, I do have. Hang on.
Oh, my back.
Your official.
Awesome.
Yeah. Your official autograph.
Thank you, darling.
Anytime. So, autograph to you. I just got to get a frame put on it, and
I can get the frame.
No, I don't want it to get fucked up in transportation. So I'll get it framed up for you and hand it over to UPS and get it sent. Yeah. Just for you, from Denise Harris. But yeah, so we'll play it by ear. And I appreciate everybody for coming in. Monica, if you want to give them your spiel.
Yes, come check out Our Paranormal World. You probably already know that, but check it out. It's cool. I have to do more shorts. I'm so sorry. I've been so busy at work lately. When I come home, I just don't have time because those take me forever. If you have ever seen my shorts that I do on like the Fae and all the different little topics, I have to do probably about 100 takes because it's all done in a single take. So it takes me like literally 100 takes to get it right. So it takes a lot of time to do those. And the last 3 weeks has just been crazy. So I haven't forgotten those. I've got to do one on Sin Eaters. And I think there was another one I was going to do. I was going to do one on places that are related to the underworld. So I was going to do a longer, like, little video about that. So look forward to those. And yeah, come on and check me out over on YouTube. Hit subscribe. I'm only like 40 subscribers away from being monetized. I think that's cool.
That's fucking awesome.
Right? So I don't know what that means, but I keep getting these alerts on my YouTube like dashboard that's like 50 subscribers away or 40 subscribers. It's like counting down for me. So yay. You can also check me out on Instagram or Facebook. So hope to see you guys there.
Yeah. And you said take like 8 times in like 5 sentences. Mad respect.
I said what?
You said the word take like 8 times in 5 sentences.
Oh, did
You're
I?
like, I did some takes on some takes, and then it takes me like 8 takes to do a take before I take.
Yeah, I'm tired.
Yeah, this is cool.
Yeah, I'm tired.
I just noticed little stuff like that. But yeah, all right, yeah. Check Monica out Thursdays, and always the Breezy Speakeasy with Monica if she can make it. She's considered my official co-host, and yeah,
Breezy's
we'll be
mine.
we'll be on every Friday on the Speakeasy. So come fucks with us and hang out and pour you up a drink. Have fun.
Have fun while we argue whether or not the Earth is flat and outer space is real.
Because it's not.
It is.
Yeah, I know the Earth is flat. I know. See, you admitted
It's
it.
not. Outer space is real. The Earth is round. That's why they had to keep making right turns, because they're at the bottom down here, and that's all you can do.
No. See, that would be a left turn. All right, y'all. Y'all take it easy. One love. God bless. Keep searching for the truth because it's out there. And hopefully one day we'll find it.